Hey guys, this is Mary Jane, and today we are going to learn how we are going to write an informal letter in General Training Task 1. So in this video, it will show you how you're going to write an informal letter to a friend, especially for Task 1 of the General Training module. And if you're going to write for Task 1 in the academic module, so please see our other videos about that. Alright, now for this video, we are going to help you tell the difference between formal and informal letters. We're going to help you plan your letter and give an appropriate format that you should follow or you can follow. And then it can also give you lots of useful language. And of course, we are going to provide you with a checklist for all the informal letters in the IELTS. Now, first question, is it informal or is it an informal letter? So the only time you will be writing an informal letter is if in the instructions, they will tell you to write for a friend. In all other situations, you're going to write a formal letter. So you have here 4 different examples. So can you please pick the one which is informal? Okay, so I'm going to give you some time for you to be able to read everything. Okay, so we can read this very quickly. All right, so in the second letter, so you have here, so let's start with the first rather. So you have here the first and third letter. So this is the first letter, this is the third letter. So they're asking you to write to, let's say, to your manager. And many people are, how can I say, or what can I say? So many people are friends with their managers, but please disregard this when you're going to write the IELTS letters. In this case, manager will always be the same as a colleague or your coworker, and the letter will therefore be formal. The last letter, okay, we have here the last letter, this one. Okay, so this specifically mentions the word friend. So you have that there. And we can therefore use an informal tone for this. You could say that the IELTS is trying to trick you with this kind of letter because they want you to write about a work-related topic. But don't allow them to trick you. When it says write a letter to a friend, make sure that you're always going to use informal language. All right, the format of every general training IELTS question is the same. So they will always tell you why you are writing the letter. So that will be found in the context. Tell you who to write to. So in that case, it will be your friend. And give you 3 bullet points that you need to cover. So this is great for us because we can use standard structure when planning and writing our letters. All right, moving on to the next part. So we have here, we are going to plan an informal letter. So it seems like a waste of time, especially your valuable time, but planning is an essential part of the IELTS writing paper. Most people plan and then they normally get lost in the middle of their writing and waste lots of time trying to make their writing clear and organized. So remember that your letter must be well organized and it is easy to read, and a plan will really help you with this. And of course, it can actually save you some time. So we have here our structure. So this is what I usually tell my students if they're going to do the general training module. So they should be able to follow these patterns. Of course, you have to be able to write the name of your friend. In this case, you can say dear because this is your friend. So you can use, let's say, their first names. Next, you should have at least 4 paragraphs. So in the first paragraph, you have to say why you're writing to them. So example, you have there the phrase, I'm just writing to let you know that. And in paragraph 2, this should be your bullet point number 1 and then your supporting details. So your bullet points 1, 2, and 3 will be in your task card. So you should be able to follow that and continue with paragraph 3 and 4. So just always remember, you have to use the bullet points that are already given to you. You have to write the supporting details that are needed. And then because this is for your friend, you can write looking forward to hearing from you soon. All the best. And then your first name only, because of course, this is your friend. So that friend already knows about you. So You shouldn't need to change this structure, and you can use it again and again for any informal task one answer. So try making a plan before you start writing, and use that to plan your answers. All you have to do then is to think of the supporting details for paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, and then write your answer. Also, about informal language. So informal language does not mean you can relax and write like you're going to write in a text, like a text message to a friend. So remember that this is an English language test, and your grammar and your spelling will all have to be correct. So, for example, you have to avoid using, let's say, abbreviations like love with the spelling of LUV, or because with the spelling of BCUZ. Also, try not to use acronyms such as LOL or OMG, and of course, never use emoticons. So, even though this is a letter for a friend and this informal, so you should be able to remember that you have to write it, I mean, in a grammatical way. It's in a correct grammatical way, and the spelling should also be correct. So this is, let's say, just a range of informal language that you can use in informal letters. So you have to know which ones you need to write. So moving on to the checklist. Okay, so it is important that we know about the different checklists for the informal writing checklist. So these are just some questions you should try to ask yourself when you're going to write an informal IELTS letter. So, have I read and thought about the instructions carefully? Am I sure that this is an informal letter? Have I done a plan? Have I covered both the reason for writing the 3 bullet points? Have I supported each bullet point with relevant details? Have I used informal language? Have I used paragraphing correctly? Are my ideas easy to understand? Have I avoided copying the word in the question and varied my vocabulary? So this is where paraphrasing will also come in. And have I checked my letter for grammar and spelling mistakes? So if you're able to do all the checklists here, then you will get a good score. So thank you for watching. See you in the next videos.